Great, we're live now.
Yay.
Awesome. Cool. So we have people that are going to be joining us. For those of you who are here slowly, it's only just now the time of the event, but slowly everyone's going to be joining us. So as you join us, please make sure to type away in the chat and just introduce yourself, maybe let us know where you're from and what your intention is for tonight. And also keep in mind that this event will be recorded, so you will have a recording sent to the email that you registered with. So if you registered on Eventbrite, you'll be getting an email with the replay as well, in case you can't attend the entire time. Also, we will have time for a Q&A. So as we go into the event a little bit deeper, feel free to ask questions and we'll make sure to answer those for you either during the event or towards the end of the event. So yeah, just continue to chat away and let's build this community, this digital community as much as we can during this live event. So now that we have just a few more people joining with us, let's go ahead and get started. So I'll introduce myself first. So hello to all of you who haven't been to any of these events before. My name is Nadeya Hassan, and I'm the founder and the CEO of Zaya. And Zaya is an online platform that is working to educate individuals as well as healthcare professionals on integrative and holistic approaches to supporting our mental health and our physical well-being. And so one of the ways that we're doing that is by creating these events and interviewing different healthcare experts on how to navigate healing and transforming and managing and working with the body and the mind and the spirit. And so a lot of the experts that we have on here have a background in psychology and philosophy and science and in medicine. And they're here to just really share their wisdom to help you understand more about the practice, also more about self-care practices for yourself, and really to just help you learn more about the work that they do and how you can integrate that into your life. And so tonight I have with me here Mathias Rodriguez Vasquez.
Hi,
And,
everyone.
and Mathias is a bioenergetics practitioner. And he is here to teach us about how bioenergetics views the mind-body relationship and how we can use some of the practices in bioenergetics for ourselves, as well as what exactly does a bioenergetics session look like. So lots of stuff to cover for during this event today. So again, make sure you just ask questions and we'll try and answer those as much as possible. So Mathias, I would love for you to introduce yourself and let us know basically how you got started in all of this.
Yes. So first of all, thanks, Nadeya, for inviting me for this amazing event. I'm very happy to talk today to all of you who are interested in bioenergetic therapy. So my story related to bioenergetics is actually quite interesting how I got into bioenergetics. Because at first I didn't know that what I was doing was bioenergetics. So basically, when I was 20 years old, I was suffering from chronic muscular pain and very strong migraines since I was 12. And I tried a lot of different traditional therapies to help me healing this migraines that I had. I went to see an osteopath, physiotherapist. I went to see as well traditional doctors. I had different imagery as well done in order to see why I had so much migraines. And basically, I was living at that time in Czech Republic in beautiful city of Prague. And I got very attracted by this teacher online. She had a wonderful website, and she was proposing a sort of holistic singing classes. So I went there first class because I was always interested to learn how to sing. And she told me, Matthias, you can't sing because you're not connected to your body. You're like a floating head. So I was like, what does it mean? What does it mean to be a floating head? And so basically, we started to do what I learned later. That was basically a bioenergetic therapy. So what is a bioenergetic therapy? So this is the big question. So it's basically a psychocorporal therapy where we help the individuals to connect back to their bodies. So what does it mean? In bioenergetics, we're talking mostly about three different parts of ourselves. So we're talking about our mind, we're talking about our heart, and we're talking about our body. So we are supposed to be the three of them as a unicity. So everything floating, everything going into one another direction. What happened in our life is that we go through different traumas, different bad experiences. We develop some kind of fears, okay? And the problem is that we don't necessarily have the right environment, that it could be at home, it could be at school, it could be outside in society, to express what needs to be expressed at that moment, okay? So what happened is that the division that occurs in a body in bioenergetics is through the heart. So it means that the heart which connects, it's a bit spiritual, but the heart which connects the mind and the body is basically blocked. So there is no connection possible happening, okay, between our mind and our body. So what happened? Then we have a lot of feelings, negative emotion, negative feelings that we were supposed to express at a certain point because it was the natural response of our body. If we experience something sad, if we experience some kind of trauma, and we get very hurt, we get angry, then we might not react with the negative emotion because we might look maybe crazy, we might look maybe weak. And depending on the environment that we are, and if something is quite repetitive, okay, so we usually tend to live in some sort of reality and ecosystem where we can experience things that are repetitive, okay, then this can be structured within the organism. So in terms of chronic muscular tensions that we can have mostly everywhere. And so the goal, one of the goals with bioenergetics is to bring back the awareness, okay, to these muscular tensions that we have, and basically identify what's happening here. Always with a lot of self-love, self-care, no judgment. This is really important. But just going back, identifying where are they, because the strongest muscular tensions that we have in our bodies, we're actually not realizing that they're there, because the muscles are so rigid, are so tensed, they are so structured. Okay, this is really important to understand that it's structured within us, okay, that basically one of the first thing is to identify where are they, and then with the different bioenergetics principles and exercises to help releasing so these muscular tensions, okay, and by doing this we are basically erasing from our body a very strong unexpressed negative emotions that we have. Okay, so for example, to give you a concrete example, a lot of tensions that we have around our neck, around our jaws, okay, around all this part are basically very strong sadness or very strong angriness. Why? Because what you have to understand is that in bioenergetics, we identify how the body moves regarding the emotion, right? If we're sad, we will tend to be like this. If we're angry, we'll start maybe to open our eyes, to like talk louder, and like basically having like our mouth open, everything open. So what happens if we basically don't have the freedom to express this? Then it's actually it will block Okay, so then we might have difficulties in the future to be sad or to express our anger. And so this is really interesting, because when we are basically identifying the muscular tensions, and when we start to work on them, then it's very surprising how the body can naturally respond all these repressed negative emotions that we had within us. So this is the goal of bioenergetics. So releasing all these muscular tensions that we have, and basically going back with our body in a way that we can feel more free, because these muscular tensions have a very strong impact on us feeling trapped in a way, us feeling not free. So this is a very interesting concept, because we can't be totally free if we have all this repression, all these tensions, if we're not being able to talk, to move freely. And so bioenergetics as well wants to guide us into a way of enjoying more our body, because the problem with muscular tensions is that it blocks it blocks the what's the word in English, the blood coming up, and so basically it gets very tense, and basically it blocks, okay, the different feelings that we can have within our body. So there is as well in bioenergetics a way where we want to enjoy again, and I would say as well that something that is very sort of a mantra for bioenergetics is patience. So I remember that when I started bioenergetics, my teacher, she always told me that I had to be patient, because it took its time to basically be structured within our body. So it will take some time as well to get away, but it's always possible. And this is something that for me is really important to communicate to actually everyone is watching the live tonight, is that everything is possible. I mean, you might feel sometimes that you're stuck, that you don't really know where to go, what to do, but there's always a different reality. There's always changes that you can make, and everything is possible. And this is something that you should never forget. And maybe bioenergetics could help you to achieve that.
Wow, incredible explanation of
That was a strong
bioenergetics.
monologue. That was a long monologue.
No, it's great. So if we look at bioenergetics and separate it from psychoanalysis, how are the two different from one another? I think from what you explained, we could definitely see the difference between the two, but it actually, bioenergetics started kind of with Freud, right? It went from Freud
Yes.
to Reich, and then
So
Lowen was
basically,
the one that
yes,
transformed it.
exactly. So basically, everything started in a way with Freud, I guess, but for many different types of therapies, right? Because it really brought, in a way, the awareness on the unconscious, right? And he is basically one of maybe one of the most contributor, right, to the modern therapies that we have available. And basically, Wilhelm Reich, who was really, I would say, the initiator of bioenergetics, was Freud was a mentor of him. So it's Wilhelm Reich who really started to identify the different personalities, traits that we have, and how it can be structured within our bodies. He was the first one to develop some sort of exercises, but at this time it wasn't really called bioenergetic therapy. It was actually not giving really a name. And so Alexander Lowen, who is actually the one who put all his life into the development of this practice, when he was like in his early 30s, I think he started to work with Wilhelm Reich, because he felt that he was not having enough pleasure in his life. So he started a therapy of almost 2 or 3 years that's completely changed his life. Then at around 36, he decided to move to Geneva and study medicine. And then he basically during this time started to develop the entire work of bioenergetics. So the main difference between psychoanalysis and bioenergetics is that bioenergetics is in a way, I would say, an applied psychoanalysis where we are basically, we're not, in psychoanalysis, we're working a lot with the mind, trying to understand our mind, trying to understand our traumas through maybe the fact of talking. Okay, there are different kind of therapies, but it's mostly about us talking, about us trying to understand why we are like this and trying to find solutions. Bioenergetics is, well, we're going to try not to use too much our mind. We're trying to going back to our body, do some exercises, and when we are connected, okay, when we are completely here, then we will see what we really want to talk about. And this is one of the main, I would say, difference that in bioenergetics, there are more than 100 different exercises. And when we are doing these exercises, we are basically trying to understand what's happening within us. So what are we feeling? Like, do we feel it's difficult to do this exercise? How do we feel it's affecting our breathing? How grounded are we when we're doing it? What kind of thoughts are coming up? So we are really doing the exercises in bioenergetics in order to see like what's happening. And so these exercises are designed to really work on different parts of our bodies and to really bring the awareness into different parts to help as well make us gain more awareness, because this is always the first part. We need to have awareness back over our body. So like it might sound a bit funny actually to say, but we can be quite surprised how much we try to avoid going to our body and really like listen to him and see like where does it feel limited, okay, where how do we feel exactly. So bioenergetics is really going back to there. So it's, to conclude my my long answer, it's working mostly with different exercises and with kind of different as well different topics. Okay.
Holding tension in my body, like certain muscles holding tension. What can the accumulation how can that affect the body in the long term? Like what sort of diseases and illnesses and conditions can manifest from?
So basically, a part of as well in bioenergetics is that releasing these tensions, we're going back in let's say the normal way of the body should work in a self-healing. Okay, so what bioenergetics would say is like, what, as the same a little bit with different alternative therapies, is that if we are into an energy imbalance, then we can get more diseases, getting sicker. Could be quite a range of different illnesses possible. But what bioenergetics is really trying in a way to cure or to deal with is depression, because bioenergetics wants to make remember to the people that they have a body that is there, that is navigating with them into their lives, and is really trying to with this awareness and going back to this love, to this taking care of ourselves, what was the question again? Sorry, I got a bit too
Yeah,
deep.
what no, it's okay. What sort of diseases can manifest with
Yes.
chronic muscular tension?
So it could be like, I would say mostly it's like very physical pain, depression, and I guess we can get more easily vulnerable to all kind of diseases because we're just not there.
Yeah, yeah. It can show up in many different ways, I'm
Exactly.
sure, is most
I,
things.
I, I would say there's no really specific way.
Uh, mm, mm. And like, what are some of the muscles that are most, like, what are some of the muscles that we experience the most tension in? So like our jaw is one, our
Oh,
neck.
Joe,
Like, what are
terribly.
some other
Our
ones that we
neck,
might be holding tension in that we're not even completely
yes.
aware of?
So our back, our lower back, our diaphragm as well is usually very tensed,
Mm,
and this is
mm,
very interesting actually, because we can have a lot of muscles that are intervening. I don't know the precise names of all these muscles, but the muscles coming from the diaphragm to the mouth are very affected and basically are affecting our breathing process. So usually we all have some sort of tensions within like all this respiratory system, but we can find as well a lot of tensions in the legs. For a lot of people, they can have a lot of tensions in the legs and around the different muscles in our genitals. So it's mostly where all the tensions are located.
hello?
Hello?
Hey, sorry. I think the internet, sorry everybody, the internet cut out. But I think we should be okay right now. If you are tuning in, if you could just type in the chat and let us know that you are connected and everything is good on your end, that would be really great. Let's double check. Okay, I think we're good now. We're good now. Sorry, apologies to everybody. Yeah, let's continue on what you were saying.
Yeah, so I don't know where it got cut, but I was mentioning basically that the main muscular tensions that we have are the different muscles that intervene in the respiratory process. And in our legs, we have a lot of tensions in our legs. We tend actually to, it's quite interesting, but in bioenergetic, there is an exercise that teach us how to walk again. Okay, to walk in order that we're not putting so much tension in our legs, and as well in different muscles around the genitals as well. So respiratory system muscles, genitals, and legs. This is where we can find most of them.
Okay, got it. And so how can we start to trace back some of this tension? So really understanding the root cause of some of that tension. What are some of the exercises that bioenergetics can help with when it comes to understanding why we might be holding tension in a certain area? And that's something that I always find really interesting is like, why are there specific areas that we hold tension in, and how is that related to something that might be happening psychologically? I don't know if you can answer that, but
yes.
Just a question.
No, actually, it's a really good question, but you really have to understand here what's happening when we are living and expressing an emotion. You know, like we all have, our body. I mean, even though we are all different, we all used to, like, I mean, there are some similarities within the fact, for example, of expressing anger. Okay, so I'm angry, so I will open my eyes, I will open my mouth. Okay, so I might make some moves, like this, like, oh, I'm angry. Okay, but what happened if we are repressing this? Then actually it gets structured. So each time we basically want, in a way, to be angry, and we are repressing it, we are basically adding tensions with all the different parts in our body that would happen in angry sort of process.
Okay. So then what are some of the exercises that we can do to bring more awareness to this?
So that different kind of exercises. So one kind of exercise is breathing exercises. So we're basically we are putting our body into specific positions that allow basically a better flow of air. So this is one kind of exercise. We're doing some grounding exercises. So in order to lower down the energy, going back to earth, going back to our feet. This is very important. We have as well expression exercises when we are trying to basically express our anger, express our sadness with this kind of exercises. And then we have, I would say, some exercises that just help us to be here, to going back. We could say like in a sort of yoga as well, you know, like when we want to give back the focus on the body. That kind of exercises with bioenergetics is very going back to because what we really want is to be completely in our body, because it's our body who sort of have the answers for us. We tend to try to find all our answers mentally, but if we really are here connected, okay, then what will come up out of what we want to say will be sort of true. So this is what we're looking for.
What do you mean by that?
So I mean is that for example, if you start if for example we will be in therapy, you and me, so basically you will start to talk to me about different problems that I don't know are happening in your week. I mean in whatever. So we say like, yeah, and I feel not great, etc. I'm like, okay, let's start to move a little bit. Let's start to walk. Let's start to breathe correctly, to calm down, then to do some exercises. Sometimes if you're very mental, then one session of bioenergetic would be entirely on exercises, just like to go back, because we really need to go back. And what is interesting is that when we are really connected, we feel a sort of peace, a sort of alignment in a way. And this is where two things, in a way, deep things can come up. So really what needs to be solved, in a way, what needs to be communicated, or nothing. And this is really interesting, because then we can realize that, oh, actually, it's not so much of a problem what I thought was a problem 30 minutes ago. So there's really these two ways, if that answered the question.
Yeah, it seems like it's helping somebody develop a deep sense of awareness in themselves and using the body as a tool to be able to get there is what I'm hearing, which is incredible.
Yes, and I mean, it's an entire life work. Alexander Lowen created bioenergetics over 50 years. I'm quite actually sad a bit, because his books are not longer published in certain countries, and I really believe that his work was truly amazing. He did 13 books talking about completely different things, and seriously, everyone who's watching, I'm not sponsored by them, but seriously, buy them if you feel attracted to bioenergetics, if you want to learn more about it. This is seriously, for me, when I look back at my own story, I realized that in a way it saved me, and I believe it can save a lot of people. So this is why I'm an advocate a little bit of it, in a way, because maybe it can help a lot of people.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you about the 5 different character types. I find this very, very interesting.
Yes.
And I don't know if any of you who are familiar with bioenergetics or if you've ever heard of the 5 different character types, but it's really interesting how Lowen uses this like a diagram of each of the different postures that are being held and what
Yes.
each individual looks like. Can you speak to that a little bit more?
Yes, of course. So in bioenergetics, so all of this has been initiated first with the work of Willem Reich, but then Alexander Lowen went a bit further with this work. So Alexander Lowen identifies 5 different personality types. So basically these personality types are structured. Always, this is what is really important in our in bioenergetics. When we talk about our personalities, it's structured within us in a way. Okay, so these 5 characteristics, okay, these 5 personalities are the schizoid personality, the rigid personality, the masochist personality, the psychopath personality, and the oral personality. Some of the personalities can sound a bit scary, like the psychopath or masochist, but it's not really what it means, okay? Like, it's really like here in the different, so no one is only one personality. We tend to be, we tend to have 1 or 2 that are stronger. And so this is really important to identify because we can really understand where are we making mentally a division. So what I mean by mentally a division is, for example, the schizoid personality is a personality that developed a very strong, who created mentally a difference between survival and needs. So it makes them mutually exclusive. So what does it mean? It means that for a schizoid personality, he can't, if he doesn't express, if he expresses his needs, then he's gonna die. Okay, so this is very strong. Okay, so all the different personalities, like the oral personality, for example, has makes mutually exclusive the fact of expressing his needs and the fact of being independent. So we can really understand, you know, with this separation that we're making mentally, and of course, this separation doesn't really make sense. I mean, if we look back, for example, to the schizoid personality, if the schizoid, express his needs, he's not going to die, right? So they're not separate. So in the work in bioenergetics, it's really important to understand what kind of, let's say, personality type is the strongest to the individual. So we can really go deeper into this. And as well, I mean, I'm mentioning that bioenergetics is a lot of exercises, body exercises, but is as well a lot of communicating, but the right communication. Okay, the communication that needs to go out, not let's say superficial, like something, the deep stuff. So for example, do you want me to go a little bit more in detail with all of them? Or
yeah, if you could, actually, that was
yes.
what I was going to ask. If you can explain each one and
Yes.
the characteristics about them, that'd be great.
So the schizoid structure is making a strong difference between, I said, survival and needs. So the schizoid personality is a type of person that can look quite shy and, you know, and quite tiny and very like, is someone who will never really look at you in the eyes. Okay, is someone that doesn't feel right to be here. So it's really important with that kind of people to make them understand that they have the right to be here, and it's completely fine. And I mean, and they are part of this world. Okay, and that kind of personality suffered from a very strong rejection problem. So rejection is something that that made them into this, let's say, into this personality structure. Then we have the oral personality, who is basically making mutually exclusive the fact of expressing its needs and the fact of being independent. So here, for oral people, they have a very strong, they felt abandoned at a point of their life, usually early in their lives. And this our personality usually feels emptiness, so feels quite empty, depending the schizoid. So the schizoid, for example, feels is not here. Okay, so the oral would feel that is very empty. And oral personality are personalities that can fall into depression mostly. Then we have the masochist personality. So it's a personality that is making mutually exclusive the fact of being close to people, so closeness and freedom. So basically, if I go too close to people, I can't be free. So this is the this is the biggest problem. Again, it's, you realize when I say that it's, why are we making it mutually exclusive, right? It doesn't really make sense. But all of this is very unconscious. We are not realizing that we are making very separated. So masochist structure are people who tend to feel very guilty and as well who have strong difficulties to say no. So they really want to please everyone, and if they're not pleasing these people, then they might feel guilty. Okay, so that's why it calls the masochist. Okay, then we have the psychopath personality. So psychopath usually have the upper body who is actually more developed than the lower part of their body. So this is actually a way we can actually see, like, they have really these specificities. So psychopath is making a mutually exclusive the independence and the closeness. So the psychopath's main, let's say, main hurt is that he felt betrayed at some point in his life, and so his main way of reacting to this betrayal is to not show vulnerability. So he built up a lot of very sophisticated mental and physical defenses in order not to be betrayed again. And then we have the rigid personality, who is making mutually exclusive freedom, the concept of freedom and love. So rigid are people who are very tensed. So they are, you can see, like, you can see in the body of these people, they are tensed. Rigid and schizoid are completely opposite. So schizoid is really like the personality who is really not here, and the rigid might be the personality who is actually the most here. Okay, but still it has issues to show his feeling, and it's very different. It's very difficult for a rigid personality to talk about his true feelings. Why? Because he's making it mutually exclusive freedom and love. So if he expresses love, then he's not going to be free. Okay, so all of this is super important to understand, because the entire therapy needs to be a bit personalized based on where are you, where isn't it working? Okay, where did you create something mutually exclusive that is not good for you? And this sometimes can be quite surprising, you know, because we would never guess it will be this. Like in you know, for example, something a bit different, but in bioenergetics, what we would say is, like, if you have someone in front of you who is very calm, you know, very calm, it seems like, oh, he's super calm. Actually, that person usually has a lot of anger within themselves. So it's always interesting, because the way someone acts, or like is usually what's happening internally is completely the opposite. So this is quite interesting to add all of this, because sometimes we can be very surprised. Oh, but I don't I don't see that I'm not expressing my needs, etc. And then we are diving deeper, and then we are trying to understand the root cause of all of this. And this is very important because when we have problems in our life, could be in whatever, one thing that is really important is understanding where it comes from. And then when we understand where it comes from, and we are basically healing the body at the same time and expressing, okay, what needed to be expressed, then we can start really like the self-healing process, when the body can really self-heal itself. And I forgot what I wanted to say.
Well, I have another question for you.
Okay, cool.
Is it possible to have more than one?
Yes. So yes. Okay. So if you would do a bioenergetic the test, okay, there are some they're not official tests because it's sort of I mean, it can change, you know, as well over time. It changes a little bit it changes a little bit over we work into different practices. But you can still highlight one or two. But usually, you should really pay attention to the first one, or the two, and the rest not like really like where as well, you know, like if for example you do the test, okay, and it shows that you're schizoid, oral, and a bit of masochist, okay, then I will try to talk a little bit with you over this, and then you will as well tell me what resonates in you. But at the same time, when I will talk to you about this, I would have a look at how what happened, you know, when I'm talking about the subject, because you might be like, no, it doesn't talk to me, but actually you show that it talks to you, you know, but you're just not realizing it in a way. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what are some, I guess this is in a therapy session, you would develop different exercises to help people to identify that. What is it that some of the exercises, or something that people who are watching this maybe can do? That could be any sort of self-reflection or anything to really start digging deeper into understanding maybe the different personality type that they might have. Because it definitely requires a high level of self-awareness to really be able to look at yourself and understand some of the things that you mentioned. I know you said even before, there's some people are like, oh, like, I don't think that I'm like that. Yes. Or the quiet person might just think that they're introverted, but then maybe there's some sort of deeper anger, like you said, that might be resonating inside of them. So yeah, what are some of the exercises that people can do to bring more, I guess, awareness to themselves around this?
So first of all, there are a lot of free resources online. If you would type bioenergetic exercises on YouTube, you can find a lot of different routines of people that have developed. There is a guy I really like what he's doing. It's called Elliot Hulse. So that kind of videos can show you some sort of exercises to do. It's a bit difficult to show an exercise here because you usually need some space and to move. But well, there is one exercise that I mean, I could show you something very simple actually. So you are basically, okay, you're sitting, okay, and
so everybody can try this who's watching.
Everybody try it. So we are first, okay, releasing the jaw tension, okay, so we are releasing, okay, we can even like massage it a little bit, okay, so we are releasing, okay, and then we are closing our eyes and we are moving our head like this. And so doing this, we're trying as well to get into a natural process of yawning, okay? And this is, for example, a very good exercise to do when we have our neck tensed, when we have our jaw tensed. And this exercise, for example, I mean, we're doing it 10 seconds, but if you do for 2 or 3 minutes, trust me, I hope you're going to do it after this live, okay? Like it really, like, you can see directly that it's doing something. Like, it's like, oh, wow. I like, you know, like how my voice changed. Like, how am I breathing now? Am I calmer? Okay, what exactly happened when I did it? So this is like that kind of, for example, in the bioenergetic therapy, that we like the practitioner is like asking each time we're doing exercises, is asking, okay, what did you feel? But like from really a body point of view, like, oh, it felt good. Actually, I felt something like was not working well, you know. And this is what we're trying to do. Like, it's not like we're doing only the exercises, but like the person really needs to have a free space where they can really express what needs to be expressed. And the more we do the exercises and the more we communicate, the more we basically release. And you're talking to someone who had migraines for 8 years, and I never had migraines since then. So so it's really, yeah, like I always say to my friends who actually have migraines or like neck problems, I'm like, do some bioenergetic exercises, because it's really like, but you need to do it often. And what happened? You do it, and at some point, something very strong goes out. Okay, you need to, if you're doing it by yourself, you need to ask yourself the right questions, or you go to a bioenergetic practitioner. But like at some point, what happened is that a very strong emotion arises. So it can be a very strong sadness. It could be a very strong angriness. Okay, but what happened is that it's just this emotion is very repressed. So when we are expressing it, it might sound a bit scary, because we're like, whoa, I'm not used of this. I'm not used of a scream, you know. We tend for sometimes to, like, I don't know if you are listening, like you feel like you can scream freely, but what is very interesting in bioenergetic therapy is sometimes, like, we out of nowhere we start to scream, like there is a screams coming out. So poor neighbors, but like poor neighbors, but yeah, we're like, wow, what happened? And you know, it's when you have this very it's like when you reach this point, and is, I would say, in terms of an image, the tap water is open, then everything starts to flow more, which can be a bit this is something, if you start a bioenergetic therapy or practice, is that you need to have the space around you to have some sort of because it's a body healing process. So the body has to express things in order to heal. Okay, and so you will really need to be in a ecosystem where you feel safe. Okay, and it's, if you're doing it, it's as well, like I would not say like to start a bioenergetic therapy to someone who is maybe very stressed because of an exam coming up, or like very maybe you know, like not in the hurry mode. It's like, okay, now I really want to work on what needs to be work, and I will give me the freedom, the time, and the love and the patience in order to start this work.
We actually had somebody who asked a question, and this is actually a question that I was going to ask you as well. Can that sudden release of emotions be harmful, like releasing fear? I mean, I think about sometimes in some very intense therapies, that release of emotions, if it happens too fast, it can almost have a reverse side effect. Is that possible with bioenergetics, or is there more of a slow progression into the release of the emotions so that it can be done safely?
Yes, it's more a slow process. I would say that when we start to release something, I would say that what is really good is that, in a way, the body is smart, and the body will express what needs to be expressed at this time. Okay, and if it's too much, then we stop. Okay, it's like, okay, it's too much. Okay, but what was the question again? I'm sorry, I go too deep into what I'm saying and I forget the
No,
question.
it's okay. I'm the same way.
Okay.
Can that sudden release of emotions be harmful?
Yes. No, it can never be harmful. Actually, when it releases, it has a strong feeling of calmness. So a very, very strong feeling of calmness, because we're just like giving away something that we had for too long and that was harming us. What is important is that is to live. So it's like you need, if you're doing it, you need to be ready to live this. I mean, in a way, you have to be strong enough, okay, strong enough, maybe it's not the right word, but you have to be ready to face and to live them. It's the only way to cure. And when you are basically into these situations, you can find like, oh, what's happening? Then the goal of the bioenergetic practitioner is like, don't worry, just like express it. And then once we're doing it, then it's in a way gone forever.
Yeah. But it has to be practiced in a safe space. I think that's
super important. If you're doing yourself, I think it's maybe good at the beginning as well, because it gives you like some sort of sense of what is bioenergetics, what like all the entire awareness, all the entire principles. If you read, for example, some of the books, after it's really like what I wanted to say. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yes, I forgot what I wanted to say.
Okay, we can. I have 100 other questions to ask.
Okay.
So the concept of pleasure is something that bioenergetics kind of uses as a way to, or bioenergetics help us to navigate to enter into a place of pleasure. Can you speak about how bioenergetics specifically talks about pleasure in itself, pleasure and pain?
Yes. So basically, when we have chronic tension, there is no pleasure. Okay. So basically, by erasing the chronic tensions that we have, we in bioenergetics, we want to feel more, to have more sensations, to start to enjoy more. Okay. Enjoy small things. Enjoying, for example, just the contact that we can have with the table. Enjoying as well. Touching others. There is this part like that is so interesting. If you do bioenergetic group therapies, group sessions, is that you don't know these people, and for 2 hours you do some exercises like alone, but as well there's some exercises where you're just like looking in the eyes of someone, like doing this with their hands, and you're basically like, it's so you trying to bring focus on like, oh, what's happening, like what kind of sensations am I feeling. So yeah,
it's like really bringing awareness to the body, to the sensations of the body, because I think that is probably one of the easiest ways for us to actually experience pleasure.
Yes,
I mean, there's so many other things that offer us pleasure in our life that we might not even be necessarily aware of. Like drinking a hot cup of tea can give us pleasure, but maybe we don't even realize it, or going for a walk, or driving our car to work. Like, these are the things that can offer us pleasure. But I think something about touch is it's very natural. It's almost this innate sort of sensation that can help us to connect to the feeling of pleasure.
Yes, and like in our extremities, we tend, like, I mean, there is an entire like concept in bioenergetic of being charged energetically, but usually this muscular tensions make us not being completely charged, like in our, for example, extremities like hands, feet. So it's really like trying to bring more energy and charging more all these ways that we have in a way to interact with our environment. Our feet, our legs to walk, our hands to touch, our mouth to kiss, you know, to eat, you know, it's like going back to all of this, and how basically into all this self-healing process, we are going back to enjoy more small things, and just like living in general, just breathing.
Yeah.
You know, like it's important, like breathe and just enjoy, you know, walk and just enjoy. And it's so strange. No, we're not thinking like, okay, I'm walking, and I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying walking. You know, it's like going back a little bit to this.
Yeah. What's some advice that you can give to those who are listening to this? What are some ways that they can start cultivating and creating more pleasure in their life? Was there anything usually that you give to your clients, or some homework maybe?
Yes, I would say something. There are many. I mean, I feel that when we're feeling stuck in our lives, and experiencing different kind of problems, could be in whatever area, we tend to be too hard on ourselves. This is seriously, everyone watching, stop being hard on yourselves. You're great, okay? So, so there is this, and I would say as well to try to give more awareness to what our body wants, what it's saying to us. The exercises can help understanding as well how we work. So there's so many, you know, there's so many things, like, I mean, for example, even not talking about bioenergetics, but for example, about sensitive people, how they work, about the different personalities, like, you know, you have the 16 personalities tests you can do, about the bioenergetic test that you can do. It's like to understand a little bit that, okay, oh, because we each time we're so focused on ourselves that we don't realize that it's actually completely normal the way we are. Okay, so it's really interesting sometimes to extrapolate to different external source of information, and as well realize that, oh, it's normal. What it has a name in a way. I mean, I don't like categorization, never. Okay, but it can really help to just make people feel in a way more normal. We can feel sometimes so singular, but actually we're just an individual who works in a specific way, and it's completely fine. And if others work differently, is completely fine too. So let's say the goal a little bit, I mean, yeah, the goal, I guess, as well of Zaya, the goal of like as well what I'm doing, and a lot of practitioners, is to really like create more harmony in a way, in the sense that people get to accept them more, learn more about themselves, and as well learn that others are different, and it's completely fine. Okay, so this is my advices.
Yes, very good advice.
Cool.
I needed to hear that, and I'm sure many other people need to hear that as
Nice.
well.
I'm happy.
Yeah. So looking over at the questions, and if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in now. We're kind of coming towards the end. It always goes so fast.
Yes, I wanted to talk about so many other things.
I know, right? So one of the questions is bioenergetics applicable for anxiety?
Yes, completely. Actually, I would say for anxiety, for depression, like for if we have like so sort of feeling depressed, okay, it's because we're just completely not connected. So bioenergetic exercises, even like if you look at some videos and you're just doing them, it can really calm you down. Because when you're anxious, you just like completely forget that you have an entire body who is here for you, and that that is strong enough for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and this is really like something important by energetics as well, that you know, the concept of self-confidence in a way is being confident enough that we know that we can go over whatever that will happen in our future. And so by our
That we can
energetics,
try, is
yes,
what
it's
you
like
mean.
yes, that we can, you know, that we are self-confident enough to know that in the future we will be able to climb whatever would happen in our life. So I mean, anxiety, like all different kind of issues related, problems related, please don't take medications. There are a lot of things that are available for you, different types of, I mean, there are many different kind of therapies, but I really believe that bioenergetics can help you to understand the root cause of this anxiety and release it.
Another question is, oh, you mentioned this earlier. You said that there are some YouTube videos where people can do some exercises. Was the name Elliot Halls? Is
Yes,
that the name?
Elliot Halls, I strongly recommend. It's really amazing. He's talking about many different things. His approach is more towards men, so he's more talking for men. But have a look at what he's doing, about the different exercises that he has into his daily routine. There are some exercises that you can start to do, and if you do, for example, these exercises in the morning, it can just really help you to just like being here and be fully energized as well, because these exercises work on breathing, and so we're basically like all of a sudden like, oh, like having so much energy. So this is some exercise, mostly like bioenergetics exercises are really good to do in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I can send out a few links. If you have any recommendations on good videos, I can send that out to everyone in their email. So
yes,
that
of course. If people are interested, with pleasure.
Yeah.
I can send you different books and videos to watch.
Okay, great. And
Is
then,
there any more questions?
Yeah, 2 more questions. What exercises would you do for the release in your legs? So if you have tension in your legs.
Yes. So I can't really show it here, but there are like there are some exercises that basically when you stand up. Okay, I'm going to try to explain. When you stand up, usually we have the tendency to have our legs or like a line, if it makes sense for you, like line very rigid. Okay, so one thing that we do in bioenergetics is like try to relax our knees, okay, and stop being like rigid with our legs, but more being a little bit like this. Okay, so just doing this at home, you can feel like if your knees are so I hope
slightly bent, like a micro bend in like, the knees almost.
Yeah, it's like yeah, you were basically
loose.
It's like you put just your knees a little bit in front, okay, and a little bit, not too much. And by doing this, okay, you like if you do it now, you will just realize that you're less tensed in your legs. And this is a routine in a way that you have to adopt at any moment of your life. I mean, you may look a little bit funny, maybe, okay, but maybe when you want to cross the street and you're waiting to cross, then you just do this for like 10 seconds, and you just like it just helps to release your legs tensions. So this is one exercise, for example, that you can just do all the time, like you're cooking, no one's watching, okay, and just like, and this really help as well, like just in general, you know, like we are for the person as well who was anxious, or who was talking about the anxiety, you know, like if you're really like in your legs, in your feet here, anxiety is not really here. Okay.
Yeah. And also, can bioenergetics be used to help those with PTSD?
That's a good question. I think that it can, to a certain extent. I would say, you know, that bioenergetics will always do something good for you. It would always heal something. I would say maybe for very strong PTSD, it might need to see a very like specialized specialist. Maybe bioenergetics might not be the best option for you if it's very too strong, but at least maybe it can be used as let's say as a second tool that you're using in order to that would help you to I'm always saying that, but like to just like go back and enjoy your body, and giving you in a way more strength, because we're making peace with our body, and giving you more strength to go over this PTSD.
Okay, so it's like a complementary tool.
I would say more
basically,
complementary, yes.
for PTSD. Okay, great, cool. Well, that's about it now. It's time. Thank you,
Wow.
everybody, for joining us, and thanks for everybody who asked questions. Matthias, how can people find you?
Actually, I think in the description there is a link, no?
Oh, yes, yes. So there is a link in the description if you'd like to
Yes, so
more contact Matthias as well.
I created a small Facebook group. So if you, I will put some content here sometimes to time. And so if you want to interact with me and you have more questions, you're interested to learn more about it, you want, I don't know, like some advices on some different books or like content, or you want to work with me, like you can find me there. It's, I think, in the link of the event of the video, no?
Yeah, it's in the description.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, everybody, once again for joining. And also, there will be another event coming up on January 7th. This is also another virtual gathering. It'll be Transforming Chronic Illness with Mind-Body Medicine. And I'll be speaking with Matt Erb, who is a physiotherapist. He has an incredible approach with mind-body medicine, and he's an expert in the field. He works with the Center of Mind-Body Medicine. He's an instructor for Andrew Weil as well. And he also is the founder of Embody Your Mind. And so I'll be interviewing him on January 7th. And also there will be a workshop that's coming up on January 20th called You Are Not Your Mental Illness. And that will be with Andrea Escobar, who is a mental health trauma advisor. And all of the links to these events are below in the description. And also I'll be sending out a link to all of the events as well and everything by tomorrow. So you'll receive all of that in your email as well. And make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Our handle is Join Zaya. And also, if you are a healthcare provider, we are launching a booking platform very, very soon. And right now we're accepting applications from providers who are located in Berlin, Germany. So if you are a therapist, if you are a holistic healthcare practitioner, if you're a general practitioner, if you fall into that category, we would love to have you apply so you can be a part of our booking platform. Other than that, that is all. So thank you once again, everybody, and I'll see you at the next event, hopefully.
Bye.
Bye.